record on this computer. All right, cool. Sweet. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 22. I'm Dom. That's Kev. The boys are rolling per usual. Great episode for you here today. We are going to recap last week's main event at UFC Auckland between Dan Hooker versus our boy Paul the Irish Dragon Felder. And then we are going to preview the vacant flyweight title this weekend at UFC Fight Night 169. Joseph Benavidez taking on, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Devianson Figueiredo for the vacant flyweight title that Henry Cejudo had to give up. So great episode ahead. You guys know the deal. Brought to you by CBD Medic. I don't need to do the promo anymore. Click the link below. Get your CBD. 10% off. Use the code Flatline10. So, Kev, let's just get right into it. UFC Auckland, very hyped main event there between two of the best lightweights on planet Earth. We got Paul Felder, who's an absolute workhorse, who never gives up, never quits. The dude can take a punch. Taking on Dan Hooker, who's been on an absolute tear. Tall, lanky, powerful guy who's had so much momentum coming to this fight. Hometown guy, right? So he's got the crowd on his side. Honestly, great fight. Great fight. Obviously, one fight of the night there. They gave the nod to Hooker. They gave him the split decision. Listen, I agree with the split decision. Do I agree who won the fight? No. I think Paul Felder took that. Paul Felder took that 3-2. I believe that. Listen, it could have went either way. I know Hooker's the hometown guy. He got the nod there. So curious to see, we watched this together. What'd you think of, first of all, the fight, and then what'd you think about the decision?
Yeah, overall, it was just an awesome fight. I mean, it could have went either way in both directions. Dan Hooker looked a lot better technically, but Felder was just putting the pressure on the entire fight, kept the high pace, really pushed Hooker the entire fight. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Stinks that Felder ended up, retiring or whatever, taking a break, because he still has some more fights in him. Like I would love to see this rematch. You could have the Barboza 3 fight. Mm-hmm. They're 1-1 right now, and he's just fun to watch in general. He always brings it. It's always a great fight when he fights. So stinks to see him go.
Yeah, just to reiterate what you said, great fight. Two guys, I think there was a lot on the line here. I think whoever was going to win this fight was definitely going to get that bigger fight. Obviously, Dan Hooker calling out Gaethje. I think that makes sense next for the winner of this, which is Hooker, right? But, yeah, you hate to see Paul Felder put the gloves down like that, or put one of his gloves down, which I think he means at the time he wants to retire, but I think he's going to go back. I think he's going to see the tape. I think he's going to realize, like, hey, I definitely won this fight. I got a couple more in me. So, like you said, both of these guys have exciting fights in the lightweight division. The lightweight division is the most exciting division in the UFC. I don't even think there's a question about it. The top 10 is absolute killers. You have to be so skilled to be in the top 10 in the lightweight division in the UFC. So hats off to Hooker. I mean, he got the nod. He's good, man. You can't take it away. I think that the last round, getting that takedown really sealed it for him. You can't really argue against that. I really do believe it was 3-2 Felder, but like I said, if you're in someone's hometown, you got to put them away. You can't leave it up to the judges. And I know Paul Felder tried everything he could to put away Dan Hooker. Obviously couldn't get the job done, but excited to see what both these guys do next. I know Dan Hooker called out Gaethje. Would you like to see that next?
I would like to see that fight. I don't think Gaethje's going to do it, though.
I don't think so.
Gaethje, even just recently, he's saying that he's not even really interested in the McGregor fight right now. He wants that title shot. He wants either Khabib or Ferguson. So for him to take that fight, they're close in the rankings now. Hooker's got a few good wins under his belt. It'd be a fun fight, but I think it'd be a step back to Gaethje.
I also think it's too dangerous for Gaethje. He could risk, going for that title. Hooker's dangerous, man. He's long, he's rangy, really good boxing. Really good everywhere. So I agree. I think Justin is in a position now when you got 3 first-round knockouts from guys within the top 10, I mean, you definitely deserve a title shot. It's just how long is he willing to stay out? Because you always got McGregor in talks of the Khabib rematch. If Khabib does win, Ramadan's right around the corner, so Khabib's taking time off. So that puts Gaethje on the sidelines for a long time. Does it make sense for him to take the Dan Hooker fight next? Yeah, of course. Dude, I'll pay 3 times the amount of a fight to watch Justin Gaethje fight. But do I think it's the smartest? Absolutely not. Hooker's kind of on a tear right now. You definitely don't want to mess with that, especially if you're on the verge of a title shot. I know there's been talks, Gaethje Conor, who knows? I think that's obviously a dangerous fight for both of those guys, but I would love to see that one too. So I know there's been talks about that, but I think Justin's manager, Ali, said that fight's not happening. Conor had his chance. He picked Cowboy. So I don't know. There's, like I said, the lightweight division has so many friggin' options right now. And it's definitely all starting to play out, right? Like once this Khabib-Tony fight is over, I think that's when the dominoes kind of line up, and it's going to be number one contender after number one contender. Obviously, depending on the outcome of the Khabib-Tony fight, I think there could be multiple Tony-Khabib fights because I think it's going to be that good, and I think that people are going to want to see that run back a million times, to be completely honest. So super excited about that one. But UFC Auckland main event definitely didn't disappoint. Fight of the night, so congrats to both of those guys. Those absolute warriors. So excited to see the future for both of them. Hopefully Paul Felder, that wasn't a full retirement. That was kind of just like that night he just thought in his brain, hey, I want to spend some more time with my kids. I'm going to take some time off just for a little bit. So we'll see that. So UFC Auckland didn't disappoint. And then moving to this weekend's card, we have UFC Fight Night 169 in Norfolk. We have the vacant flyweight title, guys. Vacant flyweight title between Joseph Benavidez taking on Devician Figueiredo. Honestly, couldn't be 2 more deserving men for this. Joseph Benavidez, the last guy to hand Henry Cejudo a loss, right? Believe so.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he had the decision win over Cejudo. That was years ago. It was a couple of years ago. Obviously, Cejudo's gotten better, and Joseph Benavidez has gotten better. Joseph Benavidez is 9-1 in his last 10 fights. People don't realize how good this man has been and how deserving he's been of this shot. Obviously, he's had his crack at Demetrius Johnson. He's had his crack at Henry Cejudo before the title, right? Beat Henry Cejudo. And now he's getting his chance to earn the vacant flyweight title versus Devician Figueiredo. And again, a guy like Devician, he's earned his stripes too, man. He's been on a tear. This flyweight division, obviously, it's had Demetrius Johnson just running through everyone for years, right? They traded Mighty Mouse for Ben Askren. We kind of all know what happened with that. Askren's out of the sport now. DJ's just winning belts in other promotions. That's why he's the GOAT. So I think right now this makes it interesting. Henry Cejudo had to vacate the belt. Benavidez Figueiredo fighting for the title this weekend. Kev, what do you think about this fight? Listen, I know a lot of people don't get too hyped up over flyweight fights. These guys are small, but I think I'm a huge Joseph Benavidez fan. I think he's a workhorse. He does not quit. He gave Demetrius Johnson tough fights in his prime. You know what I mean? So what do you think about this one, and who do you think comes away with the victory here?
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun. I mean, they're both on a complete tear. And the 2 top fighters in this division. This is like a true championship fight.
Yeah.
There's no one better to be fighting other than Cejudo, who's kind of vacated. But I think Benavidez deserves it. He's been doing this for a long time. He's got some big wins. He's got some controversial decision losses. But he's just one of those guys. He just brings the fight every single time. He's got insane cardio, good wrestling, just good all around. He's tough all around. To win.
Agreed there. This is gonna be a fun one because when you look at the flyweight division, man, it's like these guys are so quick, right? Yeah, they're smaller, right? Sometimes it might not be fun to watch, but for me, I know for me and you, even when Mighty Mouse is in there, these guys are so lightning quick, right? And you look at these two guys, and you look at Figueiredo, right? This guy's freaking 17-1. Guy's an absolute animal. One loss is Jesse Formiga, right? It's a great opponent to lose to. But other than that, this guy's on an absolute tear. This is going to be a fun one, man. And it's going to be nice to see, another face in the flyweight division hold that belt. And I'm hoping that whoever holds that is going to have multiple title defenses. You know what I mean? Because even the flyweight's killer's row, man. It's very, very underrated. Very underrated. They definitely fall under the radar. I think it was so boring at times because DJ was just so dominant. And he was just title defense after title defense, years after years of just no one even giving him competition. And I think, as much as people, discredit Henry Cejudo, he definitely brought life back to that division. Obviously, having that controversial win over DJ, and then DJ getting traded away, definitely brought more eyes to the flyweight division. Henry Cejudo definitely, loud talker, right? But he does back it up. Winning that title and then kind of just piecing out and going to bantamweight gave this opportunity to Benavidez, who, do I wish it was Benavidez versus Cejudo? Yeah, of course. I would love to see that rematch. But I like this because this is legit, like you said. This is, two legit number one contenders going at it for a vacant belt. No title defense. This is like whoever wins this is getting the belt. So I love that. So this one's going to be fun, man. This one's going to be real fun. These guys are quick, scrappy. They don't give up. And flyweights have cardio for days. So this is going to be fun. I love Benavidez. I'm going to go Benavidez here. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to knock him out. I think it's going to be kind of in the later rounds. I'm going to go like 4th round knockout. I could see it. He's got fast hands. And then, from there, I kind of just want to see him. I know he's a little bit, on the older side too. So I want to see him get a couple title defenses under his belt. And then, obviously, I would love to see Cejudo. Maybe Cejudo comes back down one day. They can fight again. So that would be huge. But, flyweight title on the line Saturday, UFC Norfolk. It's going to be awesome. So watch that one, ESPN Plus, boys. And then I know we're called Flatlined MMA. We're all things MMA. We're for the boys. We do our thing. But we got to talk about this. The biggest news from the weekend, Tyson Fury just dismantling Deontay Wilder to become the heavyweight champion of the world. Not too many words for this one. It was just an absolute flawless performance by Tyson Fury. People were criticizing Fury for coming in, weighing bigger than he did in the first fight, saying, he doesn't look good. He's partying. He's doing whatever. I don't know. Not taking it seriously. And then he just comes in and it wasn't even a fight, man. It was like apples and oranges. It was like two different fighters in there. Deontay Wilder, just from the beginning, looked like he didn't belong in there with Tyson, which was crazy because we all know Wilder is world class. He can put anyone's lights out at any second. You know what I mean? He's got Mike Tyson's power. You know what I mean? But what'd you think of the fight? And what'd you think of like hearing all the excuses afterwards with Wilder, with the walkout costume, all this stuff? And do you actually think that affected him in the ring? Or did you think that there was something going on when he stepped in the ring, like he didn't look right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw these guys fight before, so we were able to take away a lot of different things from that first fight, and it's pretty much what you expected. Tyson Fury's the more skillful, technical boxer.
Yep. And
Deontay Wilder, he's got crazy power in his hands. He's pretty unorthodox, but he just puts people away, and he, put Tyson Fury down twice in that first fight, and I think people were expecting more of the same. But Tyson, he just came out. He didn't get touched too much.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good feints where he was setting up his right hand, his power. It was just like a masterful performance, I'd say. I mean, he really didn't look too tested in that entire fight, and I think the corner throwing in the towel was, for the best. I mean, Wilder was bleeding out of his ear. I don't know if it was a ruptured eardrum or what happened, but you don't want to see him, have any long-lasting injuries just because he wants to go full fight. It's all fighters want to kind of go out on their shield. They want to give 100% of their effort, and it's up to the corner to protect them. So I think it was a good call on his corner's part. But yeah, and then the whole thing with the costume, that was just crazy. Yeah, and I saw something. This was on like Instagram. Deontay was on Joe Rogan's podcast
Oh,
a few years ago, and he was saying that he always trains with a 45-pound vest on. It just to have that weight on him. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it was kind of a bogus excuse. The reality is he just got outclassed. He didn't have the right game plan going in, and he really had no answers for what Tyson was throwing at him.
Yeah, I mean, the whole corner throw it in the towel thing. I know. I don't know if I heard fake reports that they fired the guy. That like, I don't know. I read something that the guy's not there anymore. But like you said, the dude was bleeding from his ear. I mean, that still didn't come out yet, whether that is a ruptured eardrum or not. But think about how hard you have to get hit in the ear and like how painful that is. And it's like, the thing I think was most shocking to Wilder is that typically in his fights, he's the one moving forward. He's the one getting people up against the ropes and just lighting them up. I think Tyson's game plan was perfect. He's probably the first fighter to ever walk down Deontay Wilder, put him in a corner, and just batter him. That first knockdown that Tyson had was beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Right on the side of the head. Dropped him. Legs woozy. Like, it was just, you couldn't have thought of a better game plan, and he got out of it unscathed. He got hit. I'd say he had that one, like, lump on the side of his head. He was like, yeah, that's the only thing that got me. To get out of a Deontay Wilder fight unscathed like that is scary. Scary how good he looked that night.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 6'9", 273 pounds, you shouldn't be able to move like Tyson Fury moves. You shouldn't like the way, like you said, his feints were ridiculous. He looked so good. His technique was on point that night. And he just looked calm. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much pressure with that fight, right? Because, obviously the boxers got the big paydays, all the eyes on them. This was one of the biggest heavyweight rematches since, like, Lennox Lewis days, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of pressure. Everyone was there watching them. America versus the British, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. And now it makes it interesting because you got Wilder calling for that trilogy, which I think it's in their contract that, like, if one of these guys agrees to it, they have to do it or something like that. I don't know the rules behind that, and then you got Anthony Joshua just kind of waiting there, sitting like, hey, I just beat Ruiz. Like, I want to take on one of these guys, which I don't think he's actually saying that, because who the hell would want to take on Tyson Fury after that performance? You just took out 42-0 Deontay Wilder. But yeah, now I think it makes it interesting because it's like, do you do Fury Joshua next? Do you do the trilogy? Is it even worth it do you think it's even worth doing a trilogy after seeing that just massacre?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Tyson won that first fight.
Mm-hmm.
Wilder had the 2 knockdowns, but those become 2 10-8 rounds for Wilder, and then the rest were 10-9 for Fury.
Literally, he won every round other than those 2.
And even like the second knockdown, like that huge one where he bounces his head off the canvas and he hits him with the left hand as he's going down. He popped up and he won the rest of that round right after that. It was insane. So I honestly have it as 2-0 Fury right now, but on the books they have a draw.
Yeah,
Tyson's got to win. So I mean, it does make sense for Wilder to want that fight. I think Tyson should go in the direction of the Joshua fight because he's got the titles. And all that, just to unify all the titles. He'd be the one, the single heavyweight champ.
Yeah.
and then he's got all sorts of options after that.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the best decision for him. And the way he won, the way he just kind of dominated that whole last fight, I think people are more interested to see how a Joshua fight will play out.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. You brought up the point, like, we haven't had the heavyweight title unified in years. We're talking like back in the day boxing, right? Because boxing has so many different belts now, and it's Fury versus Joshua for all the belts. Who is the actual baddest man on the planet? Who's going to take all the belts and be the unified heavyweight champion of the world? I agree. He's got to go down the Joshua route. Which brings my next point. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Who wins that? Because to me, I think Tyson Fury mops the floor with Anthony Joshua. I really believe that. Not saying I'm basing this off of Joshua's last two performances. Ruiz kicked his ass in that first fight. Now, I don't know if he overlooked Ruiz, whatever. They had the rematch. Yeah, Joshua definitely won that unanimous decision, whatever. But was it an impressive win? No. He just stayed behind his jab. He kind of just, was doing his thing the whole fight. It was nothing impressive. Fury went out there and took out the most dangerous man. They're saying, minus Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder is the scariest man to ever step in the ring. You know what I mean? And he did it with ease. Not like you said, not once, but we think twice. What do you think about Fury versus Joshua? Who wins that?
Yeah. So the thing with Joshua, he's such a great technical boxer.
Yeah.
He's like a really standard, traditional what you think of it as a boxer. So I think Tyson's going to pick that apart easier than what he did with Wilder.
Yep.
The thing with Joshua, he's such a physical specimen, and he's got all the boxing basics down to a complete science. So I think that's his advantage when he fights a lot of people, is that he's so good technically, and he's just got the size to back it up.
Yeah.
And the athleticism, he moves around really well. But with Wilder, like the way he throws punches and the way he just kind of wings things, it's hard to get a good read on him. Tyson was able to do it in that last fight. I think it's going to be an easier job for him to do that with Joshua.
Yeah. No, agreed. I think, because when I look at a potential Joshua Wilder fight, if Wilder got through Tyson, personally, I think Wilder puts away Joshua pretty easily too.
Yeah.
I think Wilder knocks him out early. I think, like you said, Joshua is so technical, like you said, specimen, right? The dude's friggin' huge. Looks like a friggin' sculptured Greek god, right? But I just think, just the way he boxes, and I think Wilder feeds off that. I think he knock him out early. And
I think he's more predictable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the same with Fury. I think Fury's his technique is so good, man. He's so big, so long. You go in there, he doesn't even look like he's in shape, right? But then he comes out, he starts throwing bombs, he's moving around, bobbing and weaving, using his feints so good. I've never seen anything like Tyson Fury before. And he's still so, I feel like he's still so young too. You know what I mean? He's relatively young, I feel like, for the boxing world. So I think him and Joshua will be fun. I think Tyson just puts him away early. Like you said, I think it's going to be easier than this fight, than the Wilder fight. And then, I don't know, from here, obviously, there's the internet critics that are just tearing apart Wilder, saying he can't box, doing all this stuff. Listen, Deontay Wilder is still the scariest man in boxing. He could still literally kill a human in the ring. He took out Luis Ortiz twice. Luis Ortiz is no joke. He's taken out some really good guys. I just think here, I don't know what it was. Obviously I'm sick and tired of hearing these excuses about the costume and all this stuff. He just came out, he got outclassed, but the guy also still has one loss. It's not in boxing. I feel like if you're not undefeated, everyone just writes you off. And that's what sucks. You know what I mean? It's kind of different in MMA. You can take a loss, you come back and go on a freaking 10-fight win streak if you really wanted to. But with boxing, people are so critical over that one loss. That if you're not undefeated, you're not a top guy anymore. So it's like crazy. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see what happens next. I don't know if Fury has to fight Wilder next or not. I don't know if the trilogy is like in that contract, like you have to do it next, or it has to be done at some point. Like, I don't know how that works, but I mean, Joshua hasn't even come out and made any statements, I don't think. So I don't think he wants any part of Tyson Fury right now. I think if he was smart, he should just, defend the title a couple more times, regain that confidence from that first Ruiz loss and his first professional loss, right? Because he got written off too after that Ruiz fight. You got to give it to Joshua. He took that loss like a man, didn't make excuses. He came back. He trained hard for the rematch. Was the most, like we said, was it the most spectacular win ever? No, it wasn't. But he did his game plan. He was super technical in that fight, and he outpointed Andy Ruiz, right? So, yeah, I just think good for Fury, man. He's got, like, the comeback story. There's going to be a movie after this guy of what he's done, the stuff that he's gone through. Went from beating Klitschko to, all the depression, suicide stuff, right, which is you hate to see that. But for him to come back, I think there was a video of him when he's like 400 pounds, and it was a video message to Deontay Wilder telling him, it's like, our fight's going to be like the biggest fight ever, and I'm going to knock you out. He said that when he's like 400 pounds. He just tweeted it too. I mean, the guy's an inspiration, man. He's so funny. He gets on the mic. He starts singing. There's like, you know what I mean? I look at him, and he is a superstar now, worldwide. And he proved that he is the best, heavyweight boxer on the planet right now. And I don't think anyone wants to friggin' get in the ring with him because he's a scary dude. He's 6'9", 273 pounds. How are you built like that and you can box? So, I mean, that fight, I think, raised a lot of eyebrows. I didn't think people thought that Tyson Fury had the knockout power to knock someone out like that, but he did. I know it was, threw in the towel. It was still a TKO, whatever. But yeah, and I don't even know what's next for Wilder, to be completely honest. I think he's going to sit on the sidelines and wait for, the winner of, Joshua Fury. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Saturday night was definitely fun night for boxing. Answered a lot of questions. A lot of haters came out, but I think that's, in when you look at MMA and boxing, right? Because, you got those superstars like Fury, like Joshua, they're bringing so many eyes worldwide to the boxing match. And I think that's why boxing is still bigger than MMA right now. But, with guys in MMA like Khabib, like Conor, right? Those mega stars. We just need more of those in MMA, and, it's going to be huge. But it's fights like that. Now I know if it is Tyson Fury and Joshua, they're going to legit sell out Wembley Stadium. Like, it's going to be like the craziest thing ever. Friggin' 90,000 people in a stadium. That's what, like, MMA has got to start doing. Like a Khabib, Conor, or, Khabib and someone else in like a stadium like that, because that's when you become, the biggest sport in the world. And I think MMA, specifically with the UFC, I think that they can get there. And, obviously when you got like a Conor and a Khabib, when you have those fan bases around the world, that's definitely possible. So cool. Well, Kev, do you have anything else, buddy?
No, that's it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, like I said, fun fight this weekend for the vacant bantamweight title. So watch that one, ESPN Plus. That is going to be fun. And then we got 2 weeks from now, our next podcast will be previewing UFC 248. Izzy Adesanya taking on Yoel Romero. And then we have a very, very fun women's fight for the Women's Strawweight Championship with the former champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk taking on the current champion from China, Weili Zhang. That's going to be fun. 248 is absolutely stacked. 2 title fights. I'm so excited for that one. So we will preview that next week. More Instagram content coming up. Twitter. My Twitter's been blowing up, guys. You've been awesome. I've been doing a ton of polls, putting up a bunch of stuff. You guys have been voting, so that's great. Hit that subscribe button. Put in the comments anything you want to see on next episode. Reach out to us on Twitter. If you want to be a guest, reach out to us because we want to have you on the show. But listen, CBD Medic, click the link below, 10% off. And then until next time. Flatline MMA. Peace.